Now to this next one. Commanders at Philly playing the Eagles. Eagles are 9.5-point favorites. 43 is the over/under. How do we feel about this one, Ben? What do you like?
I think the Eagles are going to win. I'm still not overly impressed with what we've seen from Philly. I know that they're undefeated, and I mean, more credit to them, obviously. Has Hurts looked good to you? Do you think he's played
Well,
well?
I no, well, I mean, definitely not what we saw last year. But I think that was expected. I think that was expected. He's a quarterback that I think much like Burrow has to kind of work into a role, work into a hot period, and I think he'll get there. I think he'll get there when they need it. They need him to, and I mean, you saw last week AJ Brown has been upset over the first stretch of the season. Last week he has a huge game, so
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just kind of working out that kink, and I think they'll be fine. I think Hurts will be fine.
I think they will be fine. I agree with that. It's just, I don't know, it kind of shows how dangerous they are. The fact that, I mean, they're undefeated. They've beaten some quality opponents. It's not like they're rolling over. Like, I think the Bucks are a good team,
Yeah,
and I think the Pats are the kind of team that will give you a game each and every week, regardless of who you are. I think they're going to be another competitive team as well. And they're kind of like the Pats gave them a little bit of a struggle, but it felt like the Eagles rather took their foot off the gas towards the end, and maybe that's kind of why the Pats crawled back. But the Bucks game, the Eagles just kicked the snot out of them, like all over the field. Baker, I didn't even think that Baker played that poorly. I think it was the fact that he had no time to throw the ball. Everyone outside of Evans was covered, and that Eagles D line and that front seven is just so good. So the defense looks great. The defense looks probably a step behind what they were last year, given how good they were and how many sacks they were able to get and able to produce.
yeah.
Um, but the Eagles are dangerous. I got them winning this weekend. Do you know what the line is for this one? What the spread is?
Yeah, the Eagles are 9-point favorites. 43 is the over under.
Is it in Washington?
Philly is home.
Yeah, I think they'll cover that. I think they'll cover that.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things with this game, and I actually looked, I couldn't find any props to justify it yet, and I'm gonna have to head over to Thrive to check that out and see if they have some because the Commanders, I don't know if you've seen this report, but the Commanders are allowing sacks at an all-time rate right now. Sam Howell is on pace to be sacked more than any quarterback, I think, in the history. And first now is actually Derek Carr's brother, David Carr,
Yep,
took the most sacks in a season. Sam Howell is on pace to break that.
that's
And
crazy.
and now you're going up against, in my opinion, I don't know if this is a league-wide opinion, but I think the Eagles have the best pass rush in the entire league.
Yeah, I don't think
And I
that's a hot
think
take at all. I think a lot
exactly.
of people would have that opinion.
Yeah, I mean obviously they lost some pieces in the offseason, but you add Jalen Carter,
Yeah,
a guy that I took for defensive rookie of the year, who is my pick for defensive rookie of the year. And I mean, he might be the best player on that defense. Maybe set aside from Darius Slay. You know, he is a gamer. Like you have to love what he's doing already, especially with that forced fumble against the Bucks last week. I
hmm
mean, that's an all-time play. Like the guys you see doing that are, the Bosa's, the Watts, the Aaron Donalds. Those are
yeah.
those guys that make those plays. And I think he could get to that level. He could be one of the top, 10 paid pass rushers, D linemen in the entire league in a few years. So I really think that they're going to destroy the Commanders here.
Yeah,
They could very well set maybe a record with sacks in a game. I mean, I feel bad for Howell. He's going to get destroyed. I mean,
no, he's
you
gonna get
got
smoked.
Jordan Davis, you got Jalen Carter. I mean, those are
Fletcher
two
Cox.
huge men. You got Fletcher Cox. You got Hassan Reddick. I mean, this isn't even. It's not even. It's not fair. It's
No, it's
really
really
not
not.
fair.
It's really not. And I mean, it's another one of those things where Buffalo just killed them last week. If the Eagles
Yeah.
get an early touchdown, you're just deflated right away because all that negative momentum from the week before carries in. As much as
Yeah.
people try to say it doesn't, it does. So yeah, if the Eagles hop out early in this game, it's going to be a long, long afternoon for Washington.
So how do you feel about this? The over under is 43. How would you feel about going over, thinking the idea being that the Eagles are going to score defensively, being that the Eagles are going to score offensively, and then the Commanders might get a couple garbage time points, touchdowns to cover that? What do you think about that?
Yeah,
You
I was
agree or
just gonna
disagree?
say in my head, like I was just saying in my head, I could see 35-10 Philly.
Yeah,
So I mean, yeah, I could definitely see
I
that.
like that score actually. I think that's a really solid score. Um, I agree. And I want to make a quick prediction here. I'm going to go ahead and say that if you could bet Eagle sacks, like I said, go ahead and do that. But more importantly, if you could bet for a defensive touchdown, go ahead, bet that defensive touchdown, because I don't know if it'll be the first touchdown, but I think this defense is going to force a strip sack, force a batted down ball or a tipped ball that's going to go back to the house. And I mean, it's worth seeing, and it's worth dabbling if you've got action on the game for sure.
Yeah, I mean, usually when we look at divisional matchups, it's like, well, they know how to play each other so well. I just don't see that being the case. I look at Philly right now; they're a well-oiled machine. They're very well put together. They're very organized. And then you look at Washington coming off of last week. They look disorganized. They look
Yeah,
like a bad organization, and they look poorly coached. As much as I love Ron Rivera, last week they looked extremely poorly coached, and that's a really bad matchup. Just
yeah,
really bad on all fronts.
100%. It's it's one of those things where the Eagles are just they're so dominant at every position, even with injuries.
Yeah,
They're just so dominant
yeah,
that I don't feel comfortable saying a team in the Commanders that's very young and very unproven. I don't think they're going to keep up with them, and I think we both
no,
agree on that.
yeah,
Brought to you guys by Thrive Fantasy, the proud partners of the Jacksonville Jags, the LA Chargers, and now, most importantly, Tipsy Tailgate Media. Yes, you heard that right. Head over to the link in our bio below or on thrivefantasy.com. Use promo code Tipsy when you sign up, and then you're going to go and head over and deposit $25, at least $25 into your account, and watch the lovely people over at Thrive match that deposit. In fact, any bet or any deposit up to $250, they will 100% match. Once you got your money and you're playing money in addition with what they match, you're going to go head over, play some player prop bets for the NFL season, the MLB season, whatever it is, enter a contest, and hopefully you win big. We're praying for you. Thrive gives out some of the best payouts in sports, and you can find out yourself really quickly. Listen, you sign up, you give Tipsy, code Tipsy, you do your boys at Tipsy a solid, deposit $25, now you got $50 thanks to their match, right? You take that $50, you go and play. If you lose and you didn't like the app, you never have to use it again. If you like the app, which we think you will because we enjoy it, then you got money, you got a new betting app, and a player prop app that's going to carry you through this NFL season. Because
more importantly than the rest of us, you got two new friends as well. So
two new friends.
and especially if they're us, like, come on, like, doesn't get much better than that if you're friends with me and Aiden.
And in fact, to even make that better, DM us when you do that, because we'll be shouting you out on the podcast as a loyal follower if you want. Or most importantly, you'll be entered into the giveaway, $150 cash giveaway on October 15th. Thrive is live in the available states listed below in the description. So go check the link out in our bio or use code Tipsy, sign up, $25 deposit, have a good time, and let's get tipsy into